The galaxy watches as humanity, once banished by the established powers, now stands on the brink of annihilation. The odds are against them. Alien fleets encircle their fragile worlds, and humanity has been dismissed as nothing more than a dying species. Yet within humanity burns an indomitable will. They refuse to yield. As the last remnants of Earth's legacy fight for survival, the ingenuity of humanity becomes their greatest weapon. They scavenge forgotten technologies, repurpose old warships, and build cities in the wreckage of their fallen empires. Despite their small numbers, they begin to rise again, not as conquerors but as survivors, ready to carve a place in the stars. The rebel fleet, a ragtag group of daring humans, emerges from the ashes of their downfall. They're fueled by more than just survival. They're driven by the need to show the galaxy that humanity can thrive, adapt, and build anew. A new empire is born from the deepest parts of despair. The question isn't how long they can survive, but how long the galaxy can ignore them. The tension reaches its peak as humanity faces off against a far superior force in an explosive battle. Ships that should never have been able to challenge the might of the galactic powers engage in a desperate fight. The humans rely on their quick thinking and ruthless adaptability. Each move is calculated, every maneuver a risk. They strike fast, using their intimate knowledge of the environment, and every hit against the enemy is a triumph of human cunning. The action is relentless. Every blast of energy, every sudden turn, carries high stakes. These are not just battles for survival, but for respect. The human forces know that each skirmish is more than just a fight. It's a statement. Victory, however small, is a step toward recognition. But it isn't just about tactics. Betrayal runs deep. Allies are made and broken in the blink of an eye. A trusted general turns traitor, selling out humanity to the highest bidder. The betrayal cuts deeper than any laser blast, because it's not just about war, it's about trust. And once that's shattered, no victory feels pure. Samara stood at the helm of humanity's greatest fleet, the weight of the galaxy pressing down on her. From a frightened survivor, she had transformed into a leader capable of inspiring a scattered species to rise up. But as each victory grew, so did the burden on her shoulder. Leadership wasn't just about tactics or strategy. It was about the countless lives that depended on her decisions. Late at night, Samara would sit alone, staring out into the cold, endless void of space. The faces of the fallen haunted her. How many lives had been sacrificed for this cause? How many more would be? The responsibility weighed heavily on her heart, but the people trusted her, and for them, she had to push forward. In the darkest moments, she remembered why they fought. Not for power, not for glory, but for a future, for hope. Her inner conflict raged. How much would she sacrifice for that future? And could she live with the consequences? Humanity's power, once fragile, now stood on the edge of greatness. But with power came an overwhelming responsibility. Samara's leadership was tested time and again. The decisions she made impacted not just her people, but the galaxy. Would they become what they had once fought against? An empire bent on domination? Or could they forge a new path? As their empire grew, the cost of unity became apparent. Former enemies were now allies, but deep undercurrents of mistrust ran through their ranks. The price of this alliance was steep. Personal sacrifices, losses of loved ones, betrayals, and moral compromises became part of the price they had to pay to stay united. Samara saw the toll it was taking on her people. The warriors, once fierce and proud, were now battle-worn and weary. Unity didn't come easily, but Samara knew it was their only chance. Together they could be more than just survive. Together they could become something that no one, alien or human, could ignore. Every day the fleet surged forward into unknown sectors of the galaxy, taking risks that others would never dare. Daring escapes, fierce dogfights, and tactical strikes kept the adrenaline high. But these weren't just action sequences, they were humanity's proving grounds. Each moment of action was a test of their resolve, their creativity, their adaptability. In the heat of battle, the stakes were never just about winning. They were about proving their worth to a galaxy that had written them off. Every victory was a challenge to the established order. Every loss, a reminder of what they had to fight for. Amidst the chaos, moments of reflection came. Samara, alone on the observation deck, would remember the faces of those who had fought and fallen, the sacrifices that led them here. She would remind herself that this wasn't just a war for dominance. It was a war for survival of humanity's values. The action was fast-paced, but the true victory lay in the choices they made, the unity they forged. The galaxy may have underestimated humanity, but soon they would learn. The fight wasn't just about winning battles. It was about something far greater, the chance to shape the future. The year is Humanity has stretched its influence beyond Earth, colonizing planets scattered across the galaxy. Vast starships cruise between worlds, carrying the remnants of Earth's thriving civilization to new frontiers. Terraforming technology has transformed once barren worlds into lush, habitable environments. Humanity, once shackled to its blue planet, now soars through the cosmos like a phoenix reborn. Yet this unprecedented power comes at a price. The Galactic Council, an alliance of the galaxy's oldest and most advanced species, watches Earth's rapid expansion with unease. They see a species too young, too wild, to be trusted with the cosmos's power. To them, humanity is reckless, unpredictable, a force that, if left unchecked, could topple the fragile peace held by the galaxy's established powers. On the outskirts of Council territory, Earth's colonies sit like embers waiting to ignite. In the shadow of galactic empires, humanity's ambitions are viewed as nothing short of dangerous. The question echoes through the halls of power. Will humanity fall in line, or will it carve its own path to dominance? General Rhea Matthews stands at the helm of Earth's fight for survival. Once hailed as a brilliant tactician, her rise to power was not by ambition but by necessity. Pragmatic, measured, yet bold, Rhea has become the embodiment of humanity's defiance. Her mind is sharp, her thoughts always calculating. A master strategist, she's faced the pressures of military leadership on Earth's most hostile colony. But the battles ahead are unlike anything she's ever known. The threat isn't just from alien warships or hostile forces, it's the very fabric of the galaxy itself. And the odds are stacked against her. Yet despite the cold, hard logic of warfare, Rhea's mind wrestles with a more profound dilemma. Is humanity truly ready for the power it seeks? Can they handle the responsibility of shaping a new empire without losing their soul in the process? As she surveys the vast stars beyond her fleet, she knows the choices she makes now will alter the course of humanity forever. A dark day falls across Earth and its colonies. The Galactic Council has spoken. Earth is banned from participating in galactic affairs, no longer allowed to trade, negotiate, or even defend itself on the galactic stage. The Council, once offering distant support, has now cast humanity aside. Fear spreads like wildfire through the colonies. Communication lines are severed, supply chains collapsed. Without the support of the greater galaxy, Earth's future becomes uncertain. Factions within the colonies begin to fracture, unsure whether to rally behind their homeworld or seek alliance with more powerful forces. In this moment of betrayal, humanity faces its greatest challenge, not just survival, but reinvention. The isolation isn't just physical, it's philosophical. The galaxy has declared humanity unworthy of its place, but Earth's spirit will not bend so easily. A defiant fire ignites within the people. If the galaxy refuses them, they will forge their own destiny. The situation is dire. Earth is isolated, its colonies vulnerable, and yet Rhea Matthews stands firm. A new mission falls to her: defend Earth's colonies. Yes, but more than that, create a future independent of the Council's rule. The plan is clear, though the stakes couldn't be higher. A new empire, built from the ashes of their rejection. A future not defined by alien forces, but by human hands. But the cost is steep. To achieve this, Rhea knows humanity will have to confront its darkest impulse. Building an empire could easily lead to a new war, one that could sweep the galaxy into chaos. But if humanity is to survive, they must take this bold step. For too long, they've played by the rules of a system that doesn't see them as equals. It's time for humanity to play by its own. Rhea gathers her closest allies, the people she trusts. Together, they will forge a path forward, one that will redefine the galaxy's balance of power. The rejection is a bitter pill for humanity to swallow. It stirs deep resentment in the hearts of every Earthling, colonist or citizen alike. How dare the galaxy cast them aside, treating them like mere children when they've proven themselves capable of so much more. As the colonies rally, the desire to fight back burns brighter than ever. It's not just about survival anymore. It's about proving their worth. Humanity, underestimated at every turn, will show the galaxy that they are no mere footnote in the annals of history. They will prove that no matter how small they may seem, their creativity, adaptability and unity make them a force to be reckoned with. Rhea, with her calm authority and relentless drive, becomes the symbol of this movement. Her voice, once an instrument of military order, now carries the weight of an entire civilization's hope. She calls for unity, for the strength to face what lies ahead. Together they will defy the odds. As Earth rises in defiance, the galaxy itself trembles. The Galactic Council has rejected humanity, but the repercussions are far from over. The question echoes across every star system. Is humanity truly a threat? Or are they simply a new force in a galaxy already teetering on the edge of change? The galaxy watches as Rhea Matthews and Earth's leaders take their first bold steps into a future of their own making. Alliances form in the shadows. Some seek to help, others to destroy. Humanity's every move will be scrutinized. The future of Earth is uncertain, but one thing is clear. The path they take now could either usher in a new era of peace or drag the galaxy into war. The stakes have never been higher. The clock is ticking. Can humanity prove itself worthy of a place among the stars? Or will their bold defiance lead to their undoing? Only time will tell. Introduction. In the year 2500, humanity had once dreamed of reaching the stars, of spreading its light across the galaxy. Now that same light has drawn the ire of the Galactic Council. The vast expanse of space, once a realm of endless possibilities, has become a battleground for humanity's survival. General Rhea Matthews, standing at the helm of Earth's military might, watches the monitors flicker, the holographic representation of the Galactic Council's rejection of humanity's place in the galaxy. Despite all their achievements, the Council has condemned them. Diplomacy has failed. Every attempt, every message of peace, shattered by their arrogance. Rhea's frustration is palpable as she gazes at the cold, indifferent faces of the alien council members. They think we're children, unworthy of the stars. Let them, but we will carve our own path, or perish trying. The decision is inevitable. Earth must stand alone. Rhea convenes a secret council of military leaders and government officials. Their mission to create a self-sustaining empire, to seize their future through sheer will and ingenuity. Human ingenuity, once dismissed by the galaxy's oldest civilizations, begins to stir. Rhea knows what's at stake. The future of her people depends not on diplomacy, but on strength forged through innovation and resilience. As Rhea begins her mission to unite humanity under one banner, she faces a daunting challenge. Earth's colonies are fractured. Some are eager for rebellion, others paralyzed by fear. The idea of a new empire is seductive to many, but the cost and endless war against the galaxy's most powerful beings frightens others. Rhea Matthews addressing the leaders of the colonies. We cannot afford to stay divided. The Council's decision has sealed our fate. Together we stand a chance. Apart we are nothing. A few leaders, pragmatic and fearful, hesitate. They want peace. They want a future where humanity is accepted, not one where they are outcasts fighting against an entire galaxy. Colonial Leader 1, hesitant. You ask us to betray the Council, to defy everything we've been taught. Is this really the future you envision? Rhea Matthews forcefully. What the Council fears most is what we can create when we are free. If we stand united, we will be unstoppable. The colonies bicker, some joining her cause, while others remain loyal to the idea of cooperation with the Council. Tension simmers. Each leader has their own agenda, and Rhea knows that bringing them together won't be easy. Trust is a luxury few can afford. To build their new empire, Earth needs the firepower to stand against the might of the Galactic Council. There is no better target than the Xanthar, a ruthless and technologically advanced alien race. Their ships, weapons, and advanced shielding systems are the key to leveling the playing field. Rhea Matthews to her team.
We have one shot at this. The Zenthar won't hesitate to wipe us out if they find out what we're after. We need to move fast, and we need to move silent. The mission begins deep within Zenthar territory. The human team infiltrates a heavily fortified stronghold, sneaking past patrols, hacking into their systems, and disabling defenses with precision. The weight of the mission presses down on them. Failure isn't an option. As they breach the heart of the Zenthar base, the tensions skyrocket. A wrong move could lead to their destruction. Team Member 1 whispering, "We've reached the core. Just one more step." The operation is flawless. In the dead of night, the crew steals Zenthar technology, weaponry that could change the course of the war. But as they escape, a Zenthar ship detects them, triggering an all-out chase through the stars. Rhea Matthews gritting her teeth. "We've got what we came for. Now we get out alive." They barely escape, but the stakes have never been higher. The stolen tech will shift the balance of power, but the consequences of their theft may be dire. Just as the mission is hailed as a success, a new danger emerges, one that threatens to fracture humanity from within. A rogue faction of humans, disillusioned by Earth's rejection and emboldened by their own beliefs, begins to secretly ally with the Galactic Council. They believe that cooperation, not rebellion, is humanity's path forward. Rhea Matthews to her closest advisors. "These traitors are working with the Council. We can't let them succeed." Advisor shaken. "They have powerful allies, General. Their influence is growing, and we're vulnerable." The rogue faction is determined to sabotage Rhea's growing power. They attack key installations, including those that house the stolen Zenthar technology. A bomb explodes on a fleet ship, sending shockwaves through the military ranks. Rhea Matthews grimly, "This isn't just sabotage. This is war on our own people." Rhea struggles with the betrayal. The moral dilemma is clear. Should she quash the rogue faction by force? Or does she risk losing her own humanity in the process? The line between right and wrong blurs as the fight for Earth's future takes on a darker tone. With the rogue faction threatening her empire, Rhea's leadership is tested like never before. A galactic war looms large, and every decision becomes a matter of life or death. The stakes have grown high. The future of humanity depends on whether she can unify her fractured people and overcome the looming threat from within and outside. Rhea Matthews to her officers, "We stand on the edge of oblivion, but if we don't fight for ourselves, then what are we? We will fight for every colony, for every human that believes in the dream of a future beyond the Council's chains." The new empire is taking shape, but cracks are beginning to show. As the rogue faction intensifies its efforts to destroy what Rhea has built, the galaxy watches with bated breath. The tension between humans and aliens, between rebellion and submission, comes to a head. The rebellion is no longer a mere struggle for survival. It's a race to see whether humanity can rise above the ashes of its past, or if it will burn under the weight of its own ambition. The road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear: humanity's destiny is in its own hands. The galaxy is about to change. Will humanity's drive to prove itself lead to salvation or its introduction? Political chaos and division. The newly formed Earth Empire is teetering on the edge of collapse. In the dimly lit halls of the colony's war room, General Rhea Matthews stands before a holographic map, her eyes tracing the movement of ships across the galaxy. The echoes of whispered arguments fill the room, each faction of humanity divided, each with their own vision for the future. "Rhea, you can't hold us together like this," murmurs Commander Darius, his voice heavy with frustration. "The colonies are too divided. They're scared. They want security, not revolution." Rhea clenches her fists, her face betraying the weight of her responsibility. "I know, Darius, but if we don't unite now, we'll never get another chance. The Council won't accept us. Not as equals. They'll crush us if we let them." The room grows quiet. The weight of the decision to defy the Galactic Council and risk it all for humanity's future is sinking in. The fractures in Earth's power structure are too deep, and no matter how many diplomatic gestures she makes, Rhea knows that unity is an illusion. Sabotage from within. As the Empire struggles to stabilize, betrayal brews in the shadows. Rhea walks through the halls of the fleet's command center, her eyes scanning the crew's expressions. Something feels off. Too many side glances, hushed conversation. Then a message pings across her terminal. "General, we've lost contact with the Ragul colony," reports Lieutenant Kana. "They've pulled out of the alliance. No warning, no reason." Rhea's jaw tightens. What are they hiding? Humanity's will to prevail. Despite the sabotage, Rhea refuses to back down. As tensions mount within the Empire, she calls together the leaders of the other colonies for one final summit. The stakes could not be higher. We are not just fighting for control, Rhea announces. Standing before the Council of Leaders, we are fighting for our future, for humanity's place in this galaxy. If we do not stand united, we will fall. The room is silent. Some nod in agreement, others remain skeptical. But for the first time in weeks, Rhea feels a spark of hope. The stolen Zenthar technology, once hailed as humanity's trump card, is proving to be a double-edged sword. The ship's AI struggles to adapt the advanced alien systems, resulting in multiple failures during skirmishes with the Council's fleets. A disastrous battle in the Tiburon system reveals just how unprepared humanity is. General Matthews, the new weapon, they're malfunctioning again, reports Chief Engineer Torres, sweat dripping down his brow. The shields are unstable, the cannons overloading. Rhea slams her fist into the console. Fix it, now. But Torres can only shake his head. We can't. These systems are too advanced for us to control. We're not ready. The reality sets in. Humanity may have bitten off more than it can chew. Human ingenuity tested. As the failures mount, Rhea refuses to give in. She calls her best engineers, scientists and strategists, to work around the clock, determined to make the Zenthar tech work. Nights blend into days, and the team's frustration grows. You've got to be kidding me, mutters Dr. Lara Forrester, an expert in alien tech. We're humans, not gods. How are we supposed to fix this? Rhea walks into the lab, her voice steady but filled with a burning intensity. We're going to make this work. If we have to tear it apart and rebuild it from scratch, we will. Humanity's strength lies not in our technology, but in our ability to adapt. This is our chance to show the galaxy what we're made of: tension and fragility. But as the first successful use of the Zenthar tech results in a small victory, the cost of that victory begins to weigh on Rhea. Allies begin to question their trust in her. We can't keep relying on stolen technology, one of her closest advisors warned. What happens if the Zenthar retaliate? Rhea, once full of certainty, now faces the harsh truth. The technology that was supposed to be their salvation may very well lead to their destruction. Betrayal from within the Alliance, Rhea worked so hard to build, begins to fracture beyond repair. A faction of humans, disillusioned by Earth's rebellion, secretly allies with the Galactic Council. As they launch a surprise attack on one of Earth's colonies, the betrayal becomes clear. Their message: cooperation with the Council is the only way forward. We'll never win this way, one of Rhea's generals, Commander Vega, mutters as they watch the flames of the colony's destruction burn in the distance. We've just started a civil war. Rhea clenches her fists, her heart pounding. Then we fight for every inch of this future, even if it costs us everything. Internal divisions explode. The battle to regain control is brutal. The rogue faction, armed with both their own forces and the power of the Council, strikes hard at Earth's weakened defense. Rhea finds herself leading a divided military, her once united forces now torn apart by ideology and loyalty. In the midst of a pitched battle, Rhea faces an agonizing choice. If we strike them down, we risk losing the soul of what we're fighting for, she whispers to Commander Cad, his face grim. But if we don't, humanity's fractured beyond repair. The tension builds as Rhea's forces close in on the traitors, her resolve hardening. Struggles for unity. The cost of war is becoming more evident, as each victory is overshadowed by the moral questions of betrayal. Rhea's leadership is tested as she confronts the rogue faction's leaders, some of whom once stood by her side. Why? Rhea demands, facing one of her former allies, General Reese. Why betray your own people? Reese, his face tired and weathered, looks her in the eye. Because we were always too weak. The Council offered us power. We took it. You should have done the same. With those words, Rhea realizes just how deeply divided humanity has become. The unity she fought for now seems impossible. An unlikely alliance in the midst of the growing conflict. Rhea must turn to unlikely allies, disillusioned Zenthar scientists, who have defected from their warlike people, offer their assistance. Despite the cultural differences and lingering mistrust, Rhea knows they are the only ones who can help tip the scales. Help us and we'll offer you refuge, Rhea says, her voice steady. We're not your enemies. The Council is. The Zenthar scientists exchange wary glances before their leader, Lothar nods. We'll help. But know this, we may be your allies now. But when the war ends, we will not be your friend. Fragile but necessary, the alliance is tenuous. But it gives Rhea the technological and tactical advantage she needs. Zenthar innovations allow Earth's fleet to recover from previous setbacks. However, the scientists remain cautious, wary of Rhea's true intention. We cannot stay on the edge of your war forever, General. Lothar warns, we have our own path to follow. Rhea knows their help is temporary, perhaps even risky. But it's the only lifeline Earth has. The war rages on, and with each battle, humanity's resolve grows stronger. Technological and tactical boost. With the Zenthar rebels' assistance, Earth's fleet gains crucial victories. Their new strategies and weapons level the playing field against both the Galactic Council and the rogue human faction. Rhea watches from the bridge of her command ship as a battle unfolds in space. The sight of Earth's flag flying proudly amidst the chaos. But in the back of her mind, she knows this alliance is fragile, and the cost of betrayal is never far away. The rising tide of conflict. Rhea stands before the final map, a holographic projection of the galaxy showing Earth's rising influence, but her face remains somber. The final battle is coming. She mutters, we need to be ready. The alliances are in place. The fleets are preparing for war, but Rhea knows that victory is not guaranteed. She watches as soldiers, engineers and leaders alike make their final preparations. A tense calm settling over the battlefield. Final preparations, with everything hanging in the balance. Rhea addresses her officers. This is it. Everything we've fought for will be decided in the coming days. We stand together, or we fall apart. Each word is heavy with meaning, each decision carrying immense consequences. The battle for humanity's future will either be a triumph or a tragedy. Humanity's last.
The preparations are nearly complete. The fleet is ready. The armies are mobilizing. As Rhea steps onto the bridge, the weight of the moment presses down on her shoulders. Humanity's fate rests on the outcome of the coming war. And as the battle lines draw closer, Rhea knows that this is the moment they've all been waiting for. Humanity's last stand against the forces that seek to destroy them. The galaxy stands on the precipice. Rhea, leader of Earth's rebellion, gazes out at the war room map as her team watches in tense silence. The vast expanse of space stretches beyond them, but in this room, every decision made could change the future of their people. We strike first, Rhea declares, her voice cutting through the thick tension. We hit the heart of the Galactic Council. We show them humanity's strength, our resolve. It's now or never. Her fingers hover over a glowing map of the Council's stronghold. Every faction of the galaxy watches, waiting for humanity to falter, to fail. But Rhea's plan is calculated, precise, and incredibly risky. The Council is vast, their fleet formidable. One wrong move and Earth will fall under the crushing weight of their military might. The room is electric with the gravity of her words. Her crew, hardened by battle, exchange glances. Fear, excitement, and doubt blend in their eyes. If we fail, a voice trails off in the room. Rhea's gaze locks onto the speaker, a solemn understanding in her eyes. If we fail, we've already lost everything. But if we succeed, her words hang in the air. The galaxy will know that Earth is not just a footnote in history. We will take our place in the stars. The room falls silent again, but this time, the silence is filled with the resolve of humanity. No longer just survivors, they are conquerors, ready to make their mark. The fleet moves into position. Rhea's crew is ready, their hearts steady with the knowledge that history is watching. But as the fleet nears the Council's stronghold, a sudden transmission cuts through their systems. A coded message from within. Commander, we've been compromised. One of Rhea's most trusted advisors says, his voice trembling. Admiral Kessler, he's working with the Council. The betrayal is a dagger to the heart. Admiral Kessler, a veteran of the rebellion, one of Rhea's most reliable allies. The room erupts in shock. What do you mean, compromised? Rhea's voice cracks as she stands, fury burning in her eye. We have evidence. The officer responds. He's promised the Council political favors. His betrayal will cripple us. Rhea feels the sting of betrayal in her bones, but she doesn't have time to dwell. Her heart races. but her mind is sharp. We can't fall apart now. We need to hold it together. All of us. Her words are both a rallying cry and a challenge to herself. Tensions rise. The weight of the betrayal threatens to break the unity of her fleet. But Rhea knows that to survive, they must keep moving. She rallies her officers, her leadership tested like never before. We'll turn this around. We've beaten the odds before. This time, we're not going to let one man destroy everything. The space around Rhea's fleet lights up as enemy fire rains down. The battle has begun, and it's more brutal than anything they've faced. Council warships, massive and unyielding, swarm like a storm of metal and fire. Rhea's fleet is outnumbered, but they have something more: human ingenuity, a fierce will to survive. Her strategy begins to unfold, a series of precise maneuvers that force the Council to react, making them vulnerable. The stolen Zinthar technology, once unreliable and feared, is now a formidable weapon in their hands. Deploy the Zinthar systems now, Rhea commands, her voice steady despite the chaos. The systems whir to life, firing powerful energy beams that tear into Council ships. But it's not enough. The Council retaliates, and Rhea's fleet starts to take damage. Explosions rip through the ships around her. The odds are stacked against them, but Rhea refuses to give in. Hold the line, she shouts. Her eyes scan the battlefield. Each second is a gamble. Every decision could lead to victory or death. The tension in the room grows unbearable. Rhea's crew pushes themselves beyond their limits, and they fight, not just for victory, but for humanity's place in the universe. But as the battle wears on, it becomes clear, this will not be a clean fight. Blood will be spilled. And then a breakthrough. Rhea's final maneuver, an unexpected strike, pierces through the Council's defenses, throwing their forces into disarray. But the victory doesn't come without a price. The battle winds down, the silence settling in after the chaos. The cost is clear. Hundreds of ships lost, lives cut short. Rhea stands on the bridge, watching the remnants of the enemy fleet drifting in the void. We did it, one of her officers breves. But Rhea's gaze is distant, the weight of their sacrifice pressing down on her. She knows this victory isn't without its consequence. We've proven we can fight, she says quietly. But at what cost? Her thoughts linger on the lives lost, the ships destroyed, and the families left behind. Humanity's victory is bittersweet, savored by some, mourned by others. The Council, broken and battered, acknowledges humanity's new power. The galaxy can no longer deny Earth's might, but the road ahead remains uncertain. We've earned our place, Rhea mutters to herself, her voice a quiet reflection of the pain and pride she feels. But the fight isn't over. The galaxy is a different place now. Earth's rebellion is no longer just a ragtag group of survivors. It is a force to be reckoned with. Rhea stands on the observation deck, gazing at the stars. The battle may be won, but the war has only just begun. The galactic landscape is shattered, and the remnants of the Council lie in ruins. Rhea surveys the damage, both to her fleet and to the once unified order of the galaxy. But in this devastation, she sees an opportunity, a chance to rebuild. We've done the impossible, she says to her crew, but now we build together. The alliances forged through blood and fire will have to be rebuilt, but Rhea remains hopeful. She knows humanity's resilience is unmatched. As long as they stand united, nothing in the galaxy can take that away. With new alliances forming, the once distant stars seem a little closer. The future, uncertain as it is, now holds a glimmer of promise for humanity. And Rhea, she stands as a beacon of hope, a symbol of humanity's unstoppable drive to survive, adapt, and thrive. Recognition across the stars. The stars themselves seemed to burn a little brighter. A new power had emerged in the galaxy. Earth's empire. It wasn't just a force to be reckoned with. It was a testament to humanity's ingenuity, determination, and unyielding will to survive. The Galactic Council, once so dismissive of Earth's potential, now had no choice but to reevaluate. The battles had been hard fought, the losses heavy, but humanity had prevailed. Diplomats from every corner of the galaxy now whispered about Earth's victory. Every alien faction, every star system, was forced to acknowledge the power Earth had shown. Did you think we would go quietly? Rhea muttered to herself as she gazed out at the vastness of space from her command ship. The words felt strange on her lips,
a reminder of the struggle that had brought them here. The Council had no choice but to offer a formal recognition of Earth's military prowess. The galaxy had shifted its axis. Earth was no longer a side player in the cosmic game. It was a contender, the fragility of peace. But even in this moment of triumph, Rhea knew better than to celebrate too soon. The peace that had been won was fragile, like a brittle glass teetering on the edge of a precipice. Her mind churned with the reality of what lay ahead. She could almost hear the whispers of enemies who would test Earth's newfound power. The victory had been costly, and now the galaxy watched with a mixture of fear and respect. New challenges would come, not from the old powers, but from those who had been waiting for Earth's empire to show its true strength. The future is never as certain as it seems, Rhea thought, her hand gripping the armrest of her chair. She had led them to this moment, but the path ahead was still fraught with danger. One misstep, and Earth's victory could be undone. Humanity's resilience. As Earth's recognition spread like wildfire, so did the admiration for the resilience of humanity. Against all odds, they had risen. The fight for their place in the galaxy had not been easy, but it was the human spirit, unyielding, creative, and fiercely determined, that had driven them to the forefront. Yet in the quiet moments, when Rhea was alone with her thoughts, she couldn't help but feel the weight of the galaxy pressing in. The recognition from the stars felt both like an accomplishment and a reminder of the responsibility she now carried. Humanity had earned its place, but what would they do with it? The cost of rebellion. The scars of war were not just visible on the battlegrounds. They were embedded deep within Earth's heart. Rhea stood in the war room, her eyes scanning the maps and reports spread out before her. The victories, while monumental, had come at a cost. Lives lost, families torn apart, cities reduced to ashes. Humanity had torn itself apart to fight for freedom, and now in the ashes of rebellion, Rhea faced the hard truth. The cost of war was not just the battlefield. It was the heart of her people. She thought back to the countless sacrifices, people who had fought and died trusting in a cause greater than themselves, and now they were left to rebuild. The future of Earth's empire rested on the willingness of its people to unite. Would they? Could? The question lingered, unanswered. But Rhea knew the importance of this task. Without unity, there would be no future. Strengthening internal bonds. The process of rebuilding was slow, like a garden regrowing after a wild. There were factions within the empire that still nursed wounds from the conflict. Rivalries, grudges, and suspicions that threatened to undo everything they had fought for. Rhea's leadership was tested in these moments, as she worked tirelessly to bring together former enemies, forging alliances where none had existed before. Yet, as the days passed, something shifted. Slowly, trust began to build again. The scars of war didn't heal overnight, but there was a quiet hope that emerged, carried by the understanding that the survival of the human race depended on their unity. Diplomats from newly allied species were already at the table, negotiating trade, peace, and mutual defense. Rhea stood before a hologram, her eyes scanning the faces of the diplomats, who now saw Earth not as a backwater planet, but as an emerging force. Her voice was steady, but the weight of leadership pressed on her shoulders. This is our future. If we're to stand together in this galaxy, we must do so as one. Her words echoed with the promise of a future rebuilt from the ashes. Leadership's burden. There were nights when Rhea felt the burden of it all. The weight of leadership. The knowledge that every decision she made affected millions of lives. Every loss, every victory had been hers to carry, and the emotional toll was immense. She stood before the shattered remains of the Council's fleet, the stars stretching out before her. It felt like a victory, but it was one tinged with the bitterness of loss. No one tells you how heavy the crown is, Rhea murmured to herself. The moral ambiguity of the war weighed heavily on her conscience. Had they fought for the right reasons? Was the cost of victory truly worth it? In the end, she knew there was no easy answer, but for now, the responsibility of leading humanity forward was hers, and she would bear it no matter the cost. The drive for expansion. Earth had earned its place, but that wasn't enough. Humanity's spirit had always been one of exploration, of pushing beyond the horizon. As Earth's empire began to solidify, Rhea and her team knew that the true work had only just begun. The galaxy was vast, full of uncharted worlds and civilizations that could either be allies or enemies. The stars are calling, Rhea thought, gazing out of the viewport. They were no longer just survivors in the galaxy. They were players, and it was time to stake their claim. The Empire would expand. New frontiers, new technologies, new possibilities were out there, waiting to be discovered. Humanity had the will to grow, and now they had the means, preparing for new threats. But Rhea also knew the dangers that lay ahead. The galaxy was full of ancient civilizations, some of which viewed humanity's rise with suspicion. There would be those who would test Earth's resolve. The alliance formed during the war, though strong, was fragile. The enemy was no longer just the Council, it was anyone who felt threatened by humanity's ascent. Rhea felt the weight of the unknown as she prepared for the challenges ahead. We're not just fighting for survival anymore, she whispered. We're fighting for our future. The future beckons. She stood alone in the observation deck, her eyes tracing the constellations. The future stretched before her, uncertain and vast. There were new worlds to discover, new technologies to master, and new challenges to face. Yet, in the quiet hum of the ship's engines, there was a sense of awe. Humanity was on the brink of something great. It wasn't just about survival anymore, it was about thriving. The stars aren't just ours to admire, Rhea said softly. They're ours to conquer. And with that, the future of Earth's empire seemed just within reach, as humanity prepared to embrace its place in the cosmos. The galactic landscape shifts. Earth's empire had solidified its place among the stars. But the galaxy was far from a peaceful, settled place. The victory over the Galactic Council had been nothing short of revolutionary, and yet the very nature of that victory had opened doors to new, unpredictable challenge. The galactic balance was no longer what it had once been. An ancient order was being torn apart, and a new power, one not bound by centuries of tradition or political alliances, had emerged. Rhea stood at the command deck of the flagship, gazing out at the infinite blackness of space. Her mind buzzed with possibilities. Every movement, every change in the cosmic order was now watched closely by alien factions. Some eager for alliances, others plotting in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to test Earth's strength. This was a new era, one where humanity would not be passive. The galaxy had only begun to understand the true extent of humanity's military prowess. But Rhea knew better than anyone. This was just the beginning. An unsolicited message. Without warning, the communications console flared to life, the screen flashing with a cryptic transmission. The language was unfamiliar, but the pattern. Rhea had seen this before. A chill ran down her spine as the message decoded. We are watching. We are waiting. Prepare for what you cannot understand. It was from an unknown species, one not listed in any of the galactic records. The warning was clear. This was no ordinary message, a power beyond comprehension, a force that even the oldest civilizations might fear, was taking notice of humanity. The implications were staggering. New enemies, new allies, the questions piled up. But one thing was certain. The galaxy was not what humanity had thought. It was larger, darker, and far more dangerous. The unknown path. Rhea's fingers hovered over the console, unsure of the right response. Humanity had come so far, had fought so hard to earn its place, but now they were facing an unknown force. She could feel the pull of destiny, the weight of the universe bearing down on her. Would humanity rise to meet these challenges, or would they fall? The unknown was both terrifying and exhilarating, and in that moment, Rhea realized humanity's greatest asset, their ability to adapt. It had always been the foundation of their success. The message from the unknown had stirred something deep inside her, a new understanding that the path ahead would not be linear. It would be a maze of alliances, betrayals, and endless discoveries. The future had just become infinitely more complex, and yet humanity's journey had only begun. A fragile peace. Earth's empire stood strong, but even in the quiet of the command center, Rhea knew the peace that had been won was delicate, fragile. She leaned against the observation window, staring out into the vastness of space, the stars twinkling in the distance as if mocking her uncertainty. They had fought to secure this moment, but how long would it last? The galaxy was a volatile place, and though their power had grown, new threats loomed just beyond their reach. Rhea's mind wandered to the war, to the choices she had made, to the lives lost. The future, once so clear and filled with promise, was now a hazy uncertainty. She could feel the weight of it pressing on her, the realization that this peace would demand sacrifices, more than they had already given. But her resolve remained. Humanity would survive. It always had the burden of leadership. Leadership had never been easy, but the enormity of it seemed to multiply when staring at the infinite black. The decisions she made now would affect generations to come. The burden of leadership wasn't just the responsibility of guiding humanity through the challenges ahead. It was the constant battle between hope and fear, optimism and dread. As much as Rhea longed to believe that they had reached the end of their struggle, she knew that the galaxy had a way of throwing new obstacles in your path when you least expected it. And with the unknown transmission hanging over her head, she knew that no amount of diplomacy or military might would ensure Earth's survival. The true test would come when humanity had to confront the unexpected, and Rhea would be ready. The calm before the storm. The stillness of space outside seemed to echo the calm before a storm. Rhea felt the tension in her bones, the quiet that preceded everything. There was a growing sense that the challenges ahead would stretch humanity to its limits, perhaps even beyond. The calm was an illusion. Rhea stood resolute. She had no choice but to push forward, to face whatever came next with courage. The road would be hard, but if humanity could endure the darkest times, it could endure anything. Setting the course for the future. The future, though uncertain, was still full of promise. Rhea stood in the command center once again. The lights dimmed as she gazed at the map of the galaxy that stretched before her. Earth had earned its place among the stars, but Rhea knew that standing still was not an option. Humanity had only just begun to explore the universe. The unexplored corners of the galaxy held the promise of untold resources, ancient technologies, and potentially dangerous foes. Yet it also offered the chance to form new alliances, to carve out a new future. Rhea turned toward her officers, her voice filled with determination. We set the course for the stars. We may not know what lies ahead, but we'll be ready to face it. Humanity's future isn't in survival. It's in expansion. It's time to write our own story. Bold ambitions. The mission was clear. Expand, explore, discover. Earth's empire was built on the strength of its people. And now those people would look beyond the safety of their borders and reach for the unknown. The challenge of securing new planets, new systems, would be a test of humanity's resilience and adaptability. But if anyone could do it, Rhea knew it was her people. They had already defied the odds. What was a little more uncertainty in the grand scheme of things? The road ahead, with the galaxy now open to them. The future beckoned with endless possibility. Rhea stood at the helm of humanity's destiny, knowing that the road ahead was uncertain, but that it was theirs to carve. The unknown stretched out before them, and humanity's next chapter was waiting to be written. The stars were no longer a distant dream. They were within. The road ahead would be filled with new challenges, new threats, and new victories. Humanity would rise to meet them, because that's what they did best. The dawn of a new era had begun, and there was no turning back.